Hello, this is Vivi Talks, and I am here today just to briefly talk about something with you guys, like a little short story time. I actually just got finished working out. I am completely new, so this is why I'm in the position that I'm in, and I'm basically just letting my body adjust and rest and wind down from the workout before I complete my day. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys briefly about letting go of past hurts, letting go of past trauma, letting go of, um, just past choices that we've made. I am a person that I do not let go of anything, and that has done me it hasn't done me much justice, to be honest, because I'm constantly harboring over what could have, should have, or how it could have been different. But the reality of those things is you have to let them be. It took its course, let it go. It is what it is. Another thing, too, that I've learned is depending on, the situation or just how much it affected you or how you perceived it, depends on, your ability to let go. For instance, for me, I can mention a lot of times that I wish I, you know, could have done something differently or should have done things differently. And I know that when I was working at a studio salon in Los Angeles, and I was also sleeping in that studio. Um, that studio was my home at the time. I had fell out with my family, and I had just became very distant. I didn't want to deal with anybody. I didn't feel like anybody understood me. In addition, I didn't want to be judged for going through what I was going through. So I distanced myself almost from everyone that I knew, friends included, my family included. And I was staying in this studio, and I was working, trying to work very, very hard to just, get myself together, create a new perspective for me. I was going through it. I didn't have that support anymore because, what had occurred. And I just felt lost at the time. I felt lost and just, I didn't know what to do. And while I spent my nights in that studio, you know what I mean? And it was known that I was sleeping there and, just the judgment and stuff, but I had to push through. I was not okay with the simple fact that my job had let me go. They terminated me when I was on FMLA leave after my brother had passed away. After they terminated me during that time, I had lost my insurance too. So I was no longer able to keep up with my sessions as far as seeing my therapist, seeing my psych. I couldn't afford the medicine anymore. So I had to, kind of tough it out. And not to get off topic, but it was such a traumatic experience because when you go through things like that and you're already weak, and you don't have a support system, your mind kind of tends to become like an idle mind, and what that means is you tend to think nothing but negative. Anything that comes your way, you're expecting it to mess up. And that is such a toxic way to think. But the reality is, that's how I was thinking, and I wasn't purposely trying to think that way. It's just my life had took such a quick turn from losing my job, in addition to losing my brother, in addition to falling out with family. And then I ended up having a horrible car accident. You know what I mean? So it was like I was getting hit left and right with everything. And during that time, I grew very, very angry. I was very, very upset, very, very confrontational. And it's just like I didn't care. I was moving like I didn't have anything to lose, you know what I mean, including me. Um, and where I'm going to get to about letting go is because during that time, as I mentioned, I had a very bad accident. Um, in addition to having that accident, I had basically came into some money from my job. Even though they terminated me, I came into some money from my job. And, even with that situation, it helped me out. But I was so emotionally unstable with just everything else that was affecting me at once. I couldn't let go of the simple fact that these things happen, and it made me upset. It made me angry. So it's like I wasn't allowed to move forward. I couldn't move forward. So fast forwarding to when I was in the studio, I would turn away clients. I would, sleep in while the studio was like in full effect. I would, I didn't feel like booking people. I would miss appointments, all because I couldn't let go of the simple fact that my life had took a turn and these events had happened. And because I was so upset with them and wished they could have been different or should have been different, I was now unknowingly sabotaging myself, with moving forward. I didn't do what I needed to do at those times because of how I felt. And that's why with your emotions and just past situations and things that happen, you have to let it go. Let that burden and the stress and the anger go, because it doesn't do you any justice. It does do more harm than good. And usually, when you harbor on things, you can't escape them. It's like you're reliving the same situation or, nightmare all over again. And that does you no good. It does you no good. And a lot of the times we get upset when things don't go our way or don't go in the favor for us. I think just naturally because we wanted it to. It's a human thing. If you want something, you don't want nobody to tell you that you can't have it. You want that, and especially if if you have it or if you're close to it and then something happens and it changes that course, you're stuck, you know what I mean? And you're upset, you're angry, you get mad, you get sad, you want to, why me? Why me? And you have to realize that some things go in our favor because it was meant to. Certain things happen to us because it was meant to. And if it's ever a situation that you're faced with that is overwhelming but vital for you to go through, accept it, embrace it. And whatever the result is, you have to be content with it, and you have to, let go of whatever the experience was if it doesn't go in your favor. You have to let it go. You don't want to self-sabotage yourself, because that's the worst thing that you can do, for the simple fact that, like I said, emotions are very strong. And I was dismayed by, I had got, off track because of my emotions and just not being able to really, really, do what I needed to do and, really, just go through that experience, accepting what the result was and then moving on. Versus what I was doing was any traumatic experience that I went through, I wouldn't let it go. I would get upset. And then next thing you know, I'm hit with another experience. And now I'm harboring on two more things, you know? So I just wanted to share that with you briefly, the importance of letting go, not harboring on things, and just knowing that, when you are content with how things go, especially when they're not in your favor, just know that that was supposed to happen, and don't hold yourself accountable for anything. It was an experience, and you have to keep going and moving past that. But let it go. Let it go.